How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Look, this beautiful audience is all yours.
Thank
The
you.
stage is yours. Enjoy it.
Hi, everyone. So, today I will talk about SafeCube and the solution we developed. So, who are we? So, SafeCube is a joint venture that has been created this year between Sigfox, Michelin, and Argonne Consulting. And at SafeCube, we develop a container tracking solution with IoT thanks to the Zero-G Sigfox network. We help our customers to connect their supply chain and improve their operational excellence. So maybe before talking about the solution, let's talk a bit about the problem that we are trying to solve. Did you know that in the maritime transport, for each container, for each shipment, there is more than 20 different stakeholders that are involved? Whether it's ports, shipping lines, customs, logistic provider, carrier, more than 20 different stakeholders. And your container will be touched more than 200 times from the point of departure to the point of arrival. 200 handlings. And in total, usually, the lead time will be comprised between 6 to 10 weeks. 6 to 10 weeks lead time, that's something that I guess speaks for a lot of you, to move a container from a continent to another. And what's interesting is that out of this 6 to 10 weeks lead time, half of the time, the container is actually waiting for someone to pick it up. So, as you can imagine, there is a huge room for improvement and a lot of opportunity to accelerate your flow. So now let's talk a bit about the solution that we developed in order to tackle this challenge. So the solution relies on this tracker. On the back of this tracker, there is a magnet to attach the tracker on the container. So I asked Sigfox to have a container on stage to do a demo, but they refused. So you'll have to imagine. But it's very simple. And we developed actually a plug-and-play container tracking solution that provides you with end-to-end, real-time, and reliable visibility on the geolocation of your shipment and on the transport conditions. And with this visibility, we've been working with our customers to develop several ROI opportunities, whether it's on the transportation costs, on the inventory and the working capital that we are able to optimize, or on the service that we are providing to the end customers. So several ROI opportunities thanks to reduced lead time with flow acceleration, thanks to better control and reduced damage and detention cost in the ports, whether it's at the port of departure, at the transshipment port, or at the port of arrival. Thanks to alerts that we set it up to get real-time information on ETA deviation, estimated time of arrival, on missed ship, on containers sleeping at ports, and also, of course, on transport condition, on temperature, shocks, humidity. It's also about giving this type of visibility to your end customer by giving them access to the platform. And of course, it's also about optimizing the routes by having the full visibility on the different steps. So that sounds great, right? But maybe we should go through some real use case, some real examples to make it more practical, more real for you. So, as I told you, the most important things here is actually to deploy and implement those optimization and those ROI. And we did it first with Michelin, our first customers, but also with new customers that we onboarded on the automotive industry, on the luxury industry this year, that have seen directly very nice ROI opportunities. So the first example I will show you is about a French car manufacturer that you all know, Peugeot Citroën PSA. We implemented the solution on their shipment from Spain to Brazil, from Vigo to Porto Real. And it took us barely 2 weeks to realize that the choice they made in terms of transshipment port was not optimal, that they had a better opportunity to actually do the transshipment in Le Havre, in France. And by doing that, we've been able to reduce the lead time by 14 days. It took us barely 2 weeks to realize that, 14 days of lead time reduction, and barely 2 months to renegotiate the route with the shipping line for the same price. So that's PSA. Now we're going to move to a few examples related to Michelin. Michelin is one of the biggest shippers in Europe and in the world. It's in the top 3 shippers in Europe, top 50 in the world. We're talking about 150,000 containers every year that are shipped full of tires. So in this example, we monitored shipments moving to Panama. And what we realized quite quickly, actually, we realized that the choice of the terminal and the post-routing operations were not optimal. And that by choosing a better terminal and optimizing the routes afterwards, we've been able to save 400 € per shipment on the transportation cost, 400 € per shipment, and 1 day of lead time reduction. So 1 day of lead time reduction might sound not super clear to you. So let's maybe translate it into working capital. For Michelin, on all their shipments, 1 day of working capital means $20 million. So every day of lead time that we're able to save with Michelin translates into $20 million of working capital. So stakes are really high, and every day counts. On this same lane to Panama, what's interesting is that the containers and the goods are directly shipped to Michelin final customer. It's the mines in Panama. And what we realized is that on a regular basis, every month, they were paying on some shipments high detention costs. Every day that you spend in the port after 10 days will cost you 150 € per container and per day. And on a regular basis, those situations were happening, actually. And the client of Michelin was paying that amount. So we realized that quite quickly, and we set it up alerts to prevent those situations. So basically, after a few days, the clients receive alerts on this situation so that they can work with their carrier to move the containers to their destination, to their final destination. And that cost is directly saved by Michelin customer. Last example I wanted to walk you through is related to shipments moving from Europe to the US. And they're moving to the US through the Chicago rail station. And what's happening in the US, what is specific to the US and some other destinations, is that you can custom clear your goods in parallel of the shipment. So once the container touches the ground, you can actually pick it up right away. So there is a high stake knowing in real time that your container is available for being picked. And until recently, by only relying on the shipping line information, there was a latency in this information, so 1 to 8 days. So with our solution, we have now this information in real time. Once it touches the ground, we have a message sent by the tracker. We know that the tracker is in Chicago. And we've been able to save those 1 to 8 days. And actually, we are currently implementing the flow of information between our platform to Michelin TMS. So I have much more examples. I'll be more than happy to share them with you. I only have a few minutes here, so if you want to hear more examples and more use cases, you're more than welcome in our booth today, T4. But now I'd like to welcome on stage Pascal Zamit, Senior Vice President for the Business Venture Connected Mobility at Michelin, and Lourdes Hernandez, Commercial Director for Industry at Sigfox.
Thank you.
Hi.
We're waiting for the chairs. Thank you, guys. Hello, everybody. So we just like a little family. We met 2 years ago, Pascal.
Yes, we did.
When we first met, you didn't even know Sigfox Techno, I recall that, and you were VP of Supply Chain of Michelin Group. Now we are here with SafeCube, which is a new company, and you are investor. Michelin is investor of this company. How can we arrive here?
In fact, 3 years ago or 2 years and a half, I was head of the global supply chain in Michelin, and we have a huge supply chain, it's a very big supply chain. To give you an idea, we are handling 4 billion of inventory, 4 billion euro, and more or less the total cost of logistic costs are more than 1 billion euro. And the problem we have a big supply intercontinental supply chain with multiple flows for raw materials, of course, to go to our for raw materials going from the Indonesia, Asia mainly, to our factories everywhere in the world. And we have also big flows from once you have produced the tires to everywhere in the world, okay? And we are delivering products from our factories, sometime in Europe, in US, in China, in Thailand, etc., to the local market, but sometimes directly to OEM car or truck manufacturer or agriculture product like John Deere, etc. And we are in general a just-in-time process, etc. And when you have this type of flow, and we are practically unique on the market to be capable to do that now, we are capable when you deliver tires from Europe to US, to John Deere factory in just in time, because we have a very tight and very strong management of our supply chain. And when you manage so complex flows, logistic flows, you need a strong tracking capabilities. And that's why I have this problem. We had a lot of pain points, because I can tell you a maritime business is a very difficult business, and we had to monitor this flow, and we put in place this solution internally. And the difference with the other solution we have on the market, and some are using Sigfox technology, other technology, etc. What is really different, we started to our pain points, or our customer pain point, John Deere factory, for example. What were the pain points? What do we have to improve? And when you reverse the problem and you start to the customer pain point, you select the real things to solve, and you select the real technology adapted to the use case. There is one conviction in Michelin: you don't select a maximum technology to do everything. It's impossible, because once the tire is arrived in John Deere factory or another factory customer, he forgot the added value of the logistic flows. The only thing he has in his hand is the product, the tire product. Like in fact, the logistic cost doesn't bring any value once the product is arrived. Donc you need to be always affordable. And the use case and the technology we have selected was a technology, the most affordable we have, totally adapted for solve the Michelin shipper business and not the transport company business. We were exactly focusing on our needs. This is clearly why SafeCube is now clearly a unique solution on the market, totally different, creating differentiation on the market.
A solution adapted to the use case. That's maybe why there are other companies joining the adventure, meaning that they are buying your solution. PSA is one of successful customers with Epoch. The secret is what Pascal is describing for you.
Indeed, it's all about solving the customer problems and the stakes related to their intercontinental shipments. And stakes are really high. If we take the example of Michelin, we're talking about hundreds of millions of euros spent every year on intercontinental logistics. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of inventory right now on the sea, actually, or waiting in ports. So stakes are really high, and by demonstrating that we can bring an affordable solution with quick ROI to those customers, to Michelin, but also to PSA, and for example, one of our customer Chanel, we are really able to provide quick ROI within months and get a buy-in from our clients.
This is all about operational, but the solution, does it bring something else to Michelin? Can you evolve, thanks to the solution, to a more service-oriented economy, for example?
In fact, Michelin is working on all the aspects of the mobility worldwide. Okay, and we are also producing a lot of product and services around the management of ports, or also aeroport for aircraft. All the infrastructure equipment you have everywhere in the world, it's clear we are dedicated product. Maybe you don't know, but we have a lot of vehicles adapted to this type of vehicles. And the question that our customers have, frankly, they like our product, but the head of Singapore port, the Singapore port, they don't care about the tire. They care about the operation. They care about that. So what we try to do in Michelin, in a connected mobility entity, is to develop services in order to improve the way the port is managed. It's not. We are far to be only a tire producer, because our mission is to make the mobility much easier, much seamless, and of course, the most affordable we can, in order to provide this mobility experience to a maximum of people, which is one of the key definitions of sustainability.
And how you convert that into experience economy?
Sorry?
Experience economy? How you
Yeah,
convert that service from service product economy to service economy next is experience economy on your point of view?
Thanks for the question, because in fact, one of the key points that Michelin is trying to evolve, we have a huge ambition to become a leader in the mobility. Michelin historically has always been in the mobility. I don't know, for the people in Singapore here, Robert Parker is a Singapore-based company. They belong to Michelin. The famous restaurant guide, Red Guide, it's the Star restaurant, etc., has been created historically early 19th century, early 20th century. And why did we invest so early in this type of business? Just because we were developing tires in order to have vehicles capable to transport people from point A to point B. But when you were taking, you had to do 500 kilometers at this moment, you have probably to make a stop, to find an hotel, to find a way to eat something, etc. Donc it was difficult for the people. Donc Michelin say, okay, if we want to develop the mobility of the people, which is one of our key purposes of our company, we need to help them to be mobile, and we develop the guide. And now in the new economy, in fact, the new economy, when you see the smart cities, you see the way we need to organize the sustainability issue that the planet is facing, and we need to solve, and we will, I hope. The industry is totally moving from a product and service, basic services economy to an experience in order to develop. Clearly, we don't care about the vehicle, we don't care, etc. We want to go to point A to point B. Donc, in fact, when you work in this way, you have to focus not on the way the engine of a car or the tire, etc. You work on the pain point and gain point of the people moving from the point A to point B. And once you are here, what you do, you find digital solution in order to offer a seamless experience without any constraints, etc. I'm just coming back today from China. I'm arriving from China. If you look in China, you have no more. You are paying no more with credit card. You pay. Now I saw it in Singapore. It's the same thing. You have Alipay, etc. You have QR code everywhere. This is a pure seamless experience. So everything is based on that. And then behind that, behind the scene, of course, you have a lot of things to do. And behind that, you have a technology. And of course, a technology adapted to this seamless experience. And the technology, frankly, we don't care. Donc we have to have the most affordable technology adapted to the use case. This is very key. And that's why we think, Michelin, that Sigfox is a potential key partner for the future.
And what about, thanks Pascal for your answer, because that gives me the best way to go to the theme of this roundtable, which is the Booking.com for containers. How do you see that?
In fact, Booking.com for truck transportation business exists. What are the key pain points that a shipper has or a customer of a transport company has? So first thing, which has been solved in truck business since multiple years, is the tracking of your goods. First thing. The second thing, it's very complex, the transport. You have a lot of paper, you have a lot of people, service provider coming on the chain, and you have to give the hands and the goods from one service provider to another one, etc. So you need to have also a full traceability and a unique repository on the documentation because you have custom, etc. So a lot of people are starting to work on that with blockchain technology or something like that. Second point. The third point, you have in Booking.com, the concept Booking.com, you have a question of load balancing between the demand of needs of transportation and the supply, the capacity is available. Donc this, in truck transportation, you have a lot of things starting to exist. You have some colleagues from here, which are providing things. There are a lot of companies providing that. And last, these are the main three key points you have to achieve. In maritime, it's much more. It's the same thing, but it's much more complex. Donc probably we will have a Booking.com or many Booking.com in the future. But at the beginning, we are just starting. SafeCube is starting to solve one issue, which is at this moment they are focusing on the tracking. Then there are others, some companies like Merck, etc., with IBM, etc., who have built an ecosystem, build DHL, our colleague from DHL also, are working on the blockchain in order to make a seamless experience in terms of documentation. And then we will see the load balancing. But it will be tough because the number in truck, you have a lot of transport companies. In maritime, we need to have on board our colleagues from the big carrier in this area. Donc we are not yet at this stage. It will come, sure. When, I don't know yet.
You agree, Wael? Because it's you who are going to deliver the promise.
Yes, totally. We're still ahead of a long way to arrive to this point. But I think, as Pascal mentioned, we have to solve different problems. We are now solving the first one, the tracking piece, and we are clearly seeing that the market is evolving to solve the others. And once we'll be able to bring all this ecosystem together to bring like a full solution, we will have the opportunity to further optimize this logistic and being able to provide what we indeed define as the Booking.com of containers. But for the people that are coming from Europe here, it's even more than that. It's even like the BlaBlaCar of containers, because you will be able to develop an activity that is quite limited today, which is less than container load. Right now, shippers like Michelin, like PSA, etc., they used to send a full container load each time because there is not the right level of trust in this industry. There is not the right level of balance between the information that is shared between the different actors. So not really the opportunity for a carrier, for a shipper like Michelin, to trust the system to go into this model. And it's very expensive because it's not optimized. So if we are able to rebalance the level of visibility of all the different actors and provide them with a solution that gives them visibility, trust, and whether it's on the goods, the safety of the goods, but also on the safety of the information, then we'll be able to indeed develop this kind of activity and be much more efficient than we are today in terms of optimizing the use of those assets in an industry that you may all know that is in an overcapacity situation. We are moving clearly in a way that is not sustainable. Bigger and bigger ships, more and more containers for an activity that is now actually quite flat. So if we are able to bring more optimization to this industry, there will be a lot of people that will be interested in going in that direction.
So when we first met, you were, Pascal, responsible of the supply chain. Now your role has changed. How do you see Michelin changing in the future?
Michelin, it's donc now effectively, maybe there is a link between that. Okay, I'm in charge of all the business unit in Michelin division, which is in charge of all the connected mobility area. Donc we are developing services and solutions everywhere in the world on all type of mobility needs for our customer, for the citizen, for fleets, for mining, for ports, for aeroports, and we build solutions which are capable to help our customer to be to offer in general a better experience to our customer, to their customer, and to optimize their operation. This is on B2B, and for the citizen of this planet, it's to drive the most sustainable mobility experience. Donc we aggregate within a car a lot of services you will see in the future in your car, in the car you will be, in order to have a seamless experience with voice recognition, with a lot of things, in order to give you a mobility experience which is the most seamless, easy, fun, etc., etc. Donc today, Michelin is working with people like in infotainment. We are far to be from the tire. Of course, we are working around the tire, okay? One of the key points we have to do is to clearly make sure that the product, one of my mission is also to ensure that the product we are producing will be totally reusable, okay? Now this means we need to track them, we need to make sure to understand their usage. The usage of a product are the only way to transform from an industrial standard economy to a service economy, to a solution or experience economy. If you want to move that, you need to understand drastically the way your product is used. If you know how your customer use your product, you can much better design it. Reduce probably few components you have in it which are in fact, no usage for your customer. You thought at the beginning it was a usage, but in fact the reality is that your customer don't care. Donc you need to understand the usage. And to do that, we need to transform the product you are producing, this projector, for example, okay, how has been used by the company managing this event? Maybe I had a functionality, you can do that, they are never using that. So maybe you can reuse that, but sometimes they put a book because you cannot do that. You have just to add something, etc. Donc to have a product capable to tell you, because it's only the product can use. I have been used in this way. You need to implement IoT technology within the product. That's why IoT is clearly a key enabler of this transformation experience. There is no doubt on that. But it's not an universal IoT. There is no magic tracker doing everything, etc., etc. But I have some conviction. We need to have trackers adapted to a use case of a customer. We have tracker which has to be affordable, because once you put electronics for track in a product, frankly, the customer, he doesn't care. Donc affordability is not an option. And beyond the affordability, you have, of course, the question of the energy, in fact, because at the end, everything is energy. If you consume too much energy, you are not in sustainability. It's impossible. Donc we need affordable, no energy type of solution, adapted to the use case. This is the only way to transform from product to experience. And frankly, this is why IoT is key, but only if we respect this basic. Start from the customer, not from the technology, from the customer, afford solution design based on use case, affordability.
Thank you, Pascal, for this IoT lesson, because I completely agree from a Sigfox perspective, that's the key. Thank you very much, Wael, as well. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Joy Connect. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.